Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, a good evening. As always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you staying with us, rocking with us. How are we doing today? Let us know. That's what I meant to do is put a question mark on that last one, but it is what it is. Hope everybody is doing well. Having a good morning. Having a good afternoon and a good evening, wherever you are watching this, whenever you are watching this. Let me jump over here real quick before we kick things off. I want to make sure that the sound and that video is coming in properly. Looks like we are good. Looks like we are good. So today we're talking about relationships. So let me go ahead and throw my graphic up on the screen. Boom. Keys to rewarding relationships is what we are discussing this morning at this time. Let's see here. Fantastic. Everything is up and running the way we need it to be. So, all successful relationships have common characteristics. This is true whether the relationship is romantic, work-related, or just casual. Relationships are more stable and satisfying when all parties are on the same page. Communication is always a key element to and of healthy relationships, but there are additional important factors. So tell me if I'm right on that, right? Communication is so key, it's so vital to any kind of relationship that we have. And like I said, that being in regards to just a casual friendship, work-related, or romantic relationship. But we'll dive a little bit more into that communication a little bit further down. So right now, let's talk about accepting responsibility in that relationship. So forget about 50-50. Take full responsibility for your relationships. Relationships require regular attention and adjustment. So one thing that I like to tell the kiddos now as they're growing up and learning about the world and the different things that's going on around us, I try to tell them to take full responsibility, full ownership for every single thing that happens to them, against them, for them, whatever the case may be, okay? However you want to phrase that up. And some people disagree, but I like to say that everything is our fault. Everything is in our hands. Yes, to a certain degree in certain situations, but there are certain times that, or a lot of times that, if we just make a slight adjustment, that will definitely change the outcome of the entire situation, okay? So what I mean by that is somebody cuts you off on the way to work, your coffee spills, you burn your toast. There's so many things. But how we react to them and the things that we've done in preparation up to that point is all in our hands. So you spill your coffee, maybe you were in a rush. Spill your coffee, your hands still had lotion on them this morning because your knees were ashy, right? Those are situations that we could change on our own, and we could take responsibility for that. So we could have dried our hands off a little better so that coffee cup doesn't slip. They cut us off on the way to work because we weren't paying attention to the fact that they were overly aggressive in the lane next to us, 2 lights ahead. That could have been avoided even by slowing down a little bit more to allowing them to get that room to get into that lane, or leaving 5 minutes earlier for work. And now we're not upset in that situation there. So now when it relates to relationships, it could be a disagreement because of a restaurant that was chosen, or an outfit that wanted to coordinate. All of those things can be factors that we can adjust, right? And are you giving your relationships the time and maintenance needed to ensure its success, right? So we got to be focused on it and focus on that area, in that area. And if you're on now, go ahead and give me a hello in the chat. Make sure you share this if you're streaming it. Share this, like it, subscribe, follow, all of that jazz there. So let's move on to our second one here. And that's going to be reliable. So we got to be extremely reliable in our relationships, right? So how often do we have somebody that is not very dependable in that situation? So regardless of the type of relationship, reliability is a key component. It is imperative that you can be trusted and relied upon. The importance of trust and reliability can't be overstated. So if you tell somebody that you're going to be somewhere at a certain time and you're not there, and then it becomes a regular habit that no matter what time you're supposed to be somewhere, you're constantly being late, that is not something that is going to benefit any type of relationship. And again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about relationships regardless of it's romantic, work-related, or casual. So are you that person that no matter what, you can be dependent upon and reliable for everything that's going on in a relationship? Do you always keep your word? Can others count on you? Do others believe that or believe in what you say? Are you somebody that exaggerates the truth so that it just works out more? Oh, I hate that camera angle there. Sorry about that. It's got to look for your face when you're telling the story, trying to get something set up or getting things organized. How is that working for you? Are you being reliable there? If you've been unreliable in the past, make a sincere effort to be 100% reliable moving forward. Those are things that we can adjust. Those are things that we can work on. Those are things that we can fix. This is about recognizing it, seeing it for what it is, and being able to change that. Kathy, good morning. She says, hello, Lyle. Thank you for jumping on, Kathy. I appreciate it. And everyone else, go ahead and feel free to jump into that chat as well. This conversation is about you, about us, about our community continuing to grow. So are you that reliable person, or are you unreliable? And are you going to be honest with yourself and say if you are reliable or unreliable? I know we all have certain situations where our reliability may dip and increase depending upon what it is. But can we make a true effort to change that and make ourselves that much more reliable, rather than being somebody that is never easily called upon because they know that we're not going to be able to get that job done? Okay, so moving on, we're going to dip over to forgive easily. Tough one. Especially for me, I like to hold on to things. Well, I should say I used to like to hold on to things. Everybody makes mistakes and everyone has bad days. Every person you know will hurt your feelings or let you down at some point, but it's okay since you'll do the same to them at another given point, right? So are you that person that holds on to a grudge like I used to be, and I would hold on and hold on and hold on? So if you did me wrong, I would hold on to that for 2-3 months. It might not be easily displayed on the outside, but I'm holding on to that anger, that upsetness, that hurt for an extended period of time. And then now you're unleashing that at the wrong time when you shouldn't be. Every type of relationship has its rough spots. If you are unable to forgive or forget, the relationship is forever tainted. No one is perfect. So allow yourself and others to be human, right? It's human for us to make mistakes. It's human for us to hurt somebody's feelings, say the wrong things, do the wrong thing. It's very, very tough. But are we capable of being a person that can easily forgive the other person? Because again, we know that we're going to end up doing the same at some point. Forgiving people is not just about them, it's also about us as well. And if we're able to forgive somebody, now we're able to breathe, relax, move forward, and keep pushing and pressing on more of the important aspects of our relationship, instead of holding on to things that no longer need to be held on to. So can you be that person today? Maybe this is a message for somebody right now that knows that somebody has done them wrong, or there has been an upsetting situation Are you capable of letting go of that right now? Are you willing to let go of that right now? That's actually a good question there. Think about if I have anything that I'm holding on to. I don't think I do right now, but like I said, I used to be that person, hold on to it weeks, months on in, and make sure they knew about it at certain times. So be that person to be able to forgive and move on. So our next one is listen. Listen. Communication is key, and quality communication can't take place without giving the other person your full attention. Turn off the television, close your laptop, put down that cell phone that I know you're holding when the other person starts talking to you. Give the others in your relationships the time they need to communicate with you. So, are you truly engaged in the conversation? Are you truly hearing everything that they're saying, and you're not distracted by the new season of Bosch that just came out on Amazon Prime? Or are you not distracted by the new Disney drop that came out? Or are you not distracted by the Facebook post that Susie and Jeff just spoke about? Are you capable of setting down that phone, truly listening, and truly being open to that conversation that needs to be had or is having being done at that time? When they're finished speaking, clarify anything that is unclear, then feel free to speak. So don't just jump and rush into the response area of that conversation of what that person was saying, because oftentimes we may misconstrue what they have said, and we're taking our past situations or what we've been going through that day and then pushing that on that relationship or on that conversation there. So make sure that that's something that is clear. Is this what you said? Is this what you meant when you said it? Okay, now we can go ahead and I can give you my response, and then we can work things out this way. That avoids that miscommunication, that misspeaking that we don't want to have happen. So are we capable of doing that? Yes, yes, yes. Communicate your needs. This is a crucial one, right? Let others know what you need and expect from them. Most disagreements in all types of relationships are the result of someone's expectations being violated. It's not weak to speak up and make your needs known. It's assertive. So I think we do this a lot in our, well, maybe I'm just speaking from experience. Maybe we do this a lot in our personal relationships or our romantic relationships, how we have it labeled today, or even the work relationships, is we don't want to say certain things at times because we don't want, either in the romantic relationship, somebody's feelings to get hurt and then hold on to it, or the work relationship, say certain things that is going to put us in an awkward situation or a bad situation, right? But at the same time, I think more often than not, everyone does want to hear the truth, and everybody does want to know exactly what needs to be, or what our needs are, and how they can be met and how they can be properly managed. If you don't know exactly what I need or what I want, you're giving me what you think I want, and that's not going to be a way for our relationship to continue to move forward and continue to thrive, and us continue to give each other both what we need in that relationship. And again, no matter in what regard, the casual, the work, or the romantic. So we have to be able to speak up. We have to be able to hopefully be in a relationship with somebody that, with the one prior, being able to forgive us if we say the wrong things or if we say it in the wrong manner. But we have to be able to speak about the things that we need and how we expect or would like our relationships to work out. So we have to be able to speak up, get your big girl, your big boy voice on, and go ahead and project and say that to that person. And hopefully the relationship that you're in, they are accepting of that and willing to communicate to you. So we got to make sure that we're able to do that. Melissa writes, forgive someone the way you'd like to be forgiven if you make a mistake. Yes, truly, truly. So that goes back to what we were talking about. If we're communicating certain things and we're reacting in a certain way, hopefully that other person sees that from us and they're able to treat us the same exact way. So forgiveness is a tough one. So that is, like I said, that's one that I really had to work on. I think I'm on the other side of the up and up, but who's to say? It's more of the person that I'm actually speaking you're with that'll say, he's not that far away. That brings us over to your tongue. All right. So it only takes a few seconds to say something that requires years to undo. If you tend to say harsh things in the heat of the moment, learn to take a pause before saying anything further. 10 seconds of keeping your mouth closed could eliminate a lot of your relationship drama. That goes back to as well what we spoke about 2 or 3 minutes ago when we said that if we take a slight pause, truly hear what that person has said to us, and then are capable of relaying what they have said in the form of a question to make sure that we have clarity, that does help, because now that gives us even more time to think about how we're going to respond to the message that was just delivered to us. The tongue is a crazy thing, easily can destroy relationships just like that, when maybe we did mean what we said, but maybe we didn't have to say it in that way, right? So we could say something harsh, but say it in a manner that that person is willing to accept it, hear it, and continue on in that conversation with us. If we just go out lashing hateful things and things that make somebody else upset, there's no way that that's going to work out in our favor and work out in a way that allows us to keep that relationship going, growing, thriving, whatever the word may be for us at that time. So we have to be able to recognize that and be able to mind our tongue and say things to the person the way we would want to receive that information. Even though there are times, in my opinion, where we have to be able to say exactly what is on our minds and say it exactly in the tone that needs to be heard. It's just how it is at times. And hopefully, again, that person is willing to accept that information, hear you out, and keep going. So that's my take on that. If you guys have any objections, or you want to say it in a different way, or you feel we should add to that, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. So keep it going there. Accept is going to be the next one here. And the accept is going to be accepting the person's flaws are usually here to stay. Your ability to overlook and accept the other person's shortcomings is necessary in any relationship. That's not to say that you should overlook the fact that someone is a serial killer, of course, but a relationship will be a source of grief without acceptance. We all have our flaws. We all have our strong points. Taking our strong points and comparing it and pushing upon somebody else's flaws obviously is not going to work out. So what I mean by that is if you're quick on the draw, you're quick on what you're having to say, you're quick on thinking about that response, and the other person takes a little bit longer to think about what they need to say, takes a little bit longer with understanding, a little bit longer to compute the situation. It's not right for us to rush that person or put that person down or get upset with that person, because that's not their strong suit, right? Maybe it takes them a little bit longer to understand and recognize what's going on. Maybe you are a neat freak. You like things extremely organized. You're on top of things. You're on it. You have everything written down in your calendar and you keep things rocking and rolling, where the other person is kind of fly by the seat, not as organized, a little bit dirtier, not really one to clean up their mess straight away, right? Those are two totally opposite things. But are you willing to accept that in that relationship, in that friendship, in order to continue and keep things moving forward? So recognize that we all have our ups and downs, and in order for a good relationship, we have to keep things balanced and understand that everybody's not going to be the exact same way that we are. All right. Or put that in the chat right now. Are you an organized person, or are you an unorganized person? Are you somebody that takes care of stuff straight away? Are you somebody that stays on top of things and writes everything down on a calendar and have it on the refrigerator? Or are you the type of person that, hey, I remember when I remember, I'll get to it when I get to it. I know I have this thing coming up, but it's no big deal for me to get there. How are you? What kind of person are you? And let's see here. Melissa also writes, also accept your own flaws and faults. Be kind to yourself too. It helped me personally grow, or helps my personal growth. Yes, that is actually a very good point. Being accepting of our own flaws. There oftentimes that people do get down on ourselves, or I should say we get down on ourselves because we might be working on a certain situation and we're not able to get to that point that we want to get to a lot faster, right? So you knew that you should have been at the gym. You knew it. I should have went to the gym today, but I'm just terrible at getting up in the morning. I'm terrible at getting there after work. I'm terrible at this. I'm not good at just getting in there. I hate it. I hate it. That is something that we need to be accepting of as well. Accept that maybe it wasn't ingrained in us to be on top of our physical fitness straight away. Maybe that's something that we're still working on, something that we know that we can get better at. And that's what we have to remember as well. Believe that we're capable of getting better and improving, but we got to be kind to ourselves, as Melissa writes. I appreciate that, Melissa. Yes, you're spot on with that. And the last one I have is regularly evaluate your relationships. You wouldn't drive your car without looking at the gas gauge every once in a while. Take the same attitude with your relationships. Ask yourself how each of your relationship is doing and take the necessary steps to strengthen them. And I didn't write that in, but at the same time, also know which ones may have to get dropped, right? So is this something that is beneficial to both of you? Are you both benefiting each other? Are you both getting something out of the relationship? Is it just a one-way street? And again, that doesn't mean drop the relationship straight away when it is a one-way street, but that goes back to the communication. Hey, Ted, hey, Bethany, look, I feel like it's just you constantly feeding me with what your day looks like, or you're constantly feeding me with your problems. You're not giving me the opportunity to speak in this relationship, express to you what it is that I'm feeling, express to you what it is that I'm going through. I would appreciate it if maybe we could take a second so that you could hear me out, and maybe then you can help me with my situation, and in turn that will allow us to help each other. So I think that is important, to make sure that the relationships that we have are beneficial to us. And then, are you benefiting that person as well? Think about that. Are you contributing to the relationship? Are you helping them? And something that we constantly say here on the podcast is make sure that those relationships are good for your circle. Those relationships are good for your backing in your corner. Is that the relationship that you should have? Is that the relationship that we should have? Rewarding relationship enriches our lives in countless ways. The quality of our relationships affect our happiness and success. Relationships require analysis and attention to thrive. So all relationships are good for us. All relationships benefit us in many different ways, whether it be good or bad. It allows us to grow. It allows us to constantly be improving ourselves, and constantly allows us to be just better human beings. That face-to-face interaction. And if you're incapable of face-to-face interaction, obviously the FaceTime works from time to time. I know with the 2020 year, it wasn't all that great after a while, but is that the type of situation that we have? Is that relationship that important for us? Is it going to allow us to continue to thrive and move forward? So think about your relationships today. Be a better person in your relationships. Is your relationship one that is rewarding and allows you to be the best version of you? And in that relationship, in turn, are you being able to be that person that allows that other body in that relationship to grow and thrive as well? So think about that today. I appreciate you. I appreciate this relationship that we have, the ability to jump on every weekday, jump into conversations. You guys jump into this chat here and communicate with us so that we can all continue to grow and be better motivators. So I appreciate you guys jumping on. As always, like, subscribe, follow, share, whatever it is that you could do. Continue to believe in yourself. And as always, be better.